called Sustainable Westchester. And today we're going to be speaking about one of our programs called Westchester Power. And the city of Yonkers is considering participating in the program along with 28 other municipalities that are already participating in it. So before we get started on learning about the program, I'll tell you a little bit more about our organization. Sustainable Westchester, again, is a nonprofit, and we're a consortium of Westchester governments. Our goal is to enable sustainability programming to help ensure a better future for our communities. So 44 out of the 45 municipalities in the county and the county itself are members of the organization. The main focus of the conversation, again, is Westchester Power, but we also have additional programs. Our community solar program helps residents lower their cost of energy while greening the local grid by supporting solar development. Understanding that we need to find clean and efficient solutions for heating and cooling and mobility. Our energy smart homes and clean transportation programs are helping residents and entire communities achieve this. We also have a zero waste program helping our communities implement recycling and waste reduction solutions. So let us get started on setting the context to the importance of Westchester Power as a clean energy solution. As we understand, we could also understand why Sustainable Westchester is working on this and the other areas I just mentioned. So we all can agree that 2020 was difficult. It exposed a lot of challenges in our world and society. And it also showed us the imperative of climate change, the importance of health and air quality, and the impact of COVID, and environmental justice and equity challenges. All of this along with the other traditional challenges we normally face. So the additive requires us to take action and implement dynamic and systemic levels changes. So climate change is perhaps one of the greatest human-induced challenges we're facing as a human race. This means we are having warmer summers every year. As time passes, this will lead to increase in stress to our bodies, our hospital systems with the increase of hospitalizations, our businesses that primarily operate outside, and more. We are witnessing more frequent and more intense storm events, bringing high intense winds and extreme downpours. Yonkers, along with other Westchester municipalities near water bodies, have and will continue to be exposed to flooding, putting pressure on infrastructure and municipality resources. So locally, Yonkers has already felt some of these impacts, including an overwhelmed wastewater system during Hurricane Sandy and the loss of power of many homes during Hurricane Isaias. So we're at a very important time in our human existence. This decade is so important in shaping the future of tomorrow and the future of our children. Clean energy programs such as Westchester Power that operate at a community level can help us gain access to clean energy, boost the green economy, and address climate change, and improve and safeguard the air quality and health of generations to come. So in this graphic that's coming up, you can see the source of greenhouse gases in Westchester County. 23% is attributed to residential energy consumption. Yonkers residents are currently using Con Edison energy supply for their electricity. According to the 2018 NIGATS report, Con Ed supply is about 40% gas and 40% nuclear, and with part of it being, a very small part of it being coal. And this means that under 20% is potentially clean, renewable energy supply. And of course, many studies have shown that polluting coal and natural gas plants are often located in minority and poorer communities. leading to diverse health problems in those exposed to air pollution and other chemical toxins. So a solution we're striving for is to electrify everything: our transportation system, our heating and cooling, and change to clean renewable energy source to power these. So Yonkers has already been taking strides towards a new energy future with Yonkers' ambitious and comprehensive energy plans, LED lighting, efforts by community groups and businesses such as the Groundwork Hudson Valley, all those involved in a power plant, learning hub for climate change, and the transition to a regenerative future. WestHab in its developments of green affordable housing. And so participating in Westchester Power could be another big impact step that the city can take. And helping us meet the New York State climate goals of 70% renewable energy by 2030 and zero emission by 2040. So now that I hopefully set a little bit of a context for you, Jasmine will take over and tell you more about Westchester Power.
Thank you so much, Carmen. That context is so important to the work that we do here and why this program got started and why we are where we are now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what is Westchester Power. Let's start off with letting you know that it is a community energy program. There are currently 27 municipalities. This number is actually up to 28 because your neighbor, your neighbor Tuckahoe just joined, and that makes up about 115,000 residents and small businesses. And so what does a community energy program actually mean? Gotcha. So essentially what we do is we buy electricity supply in bulk for municipalities and their residents and small businesses. Con Ed, your utility, continues to deliver your electricity, maintain the lines, provide your bill. Nothing changes on that front. All that changes is that we're buying renewable energy. And so really, this is a program to help municipalities take control of their clean energy future. What we do is we're able to set the criteria that energy companies must meet in order to supply our program. And that criteria is always renewable energy, fixed rates, and a pricing target that we're able to set ourselves. New people joining us, if you don't mind just muting your microphone, that would be very helpful, so that we can all hear what I'm saying. So the municipality, Yonkers, would actually select the electric supply, which replaces the utility as the default. So right now, when you move into a new home, you are signing up for electricity, you need power at your house, you call the utility and they're the default electric supplier. In this program, the communities change the default to a renewable energy supply. And again, it's only the electricity supply. Con Edison still does all of the billing and managing the actual grid and making sure that the electricity gets to your house. If you ever have any service issues, you continue to call Con Ed. And so we typically get these frequently asked questions. The first of which is, so if we were to join, what changes and what remains the same? The only thing that actually changes is on your bill, your electricity supplier changes. You now have a fixed rate and a renewable energy option. Like I said before, everything else will remain the same in terms of delivery and billing. The other big question that we get is, how does the program enrollment work for individuals? In an aggregation like this, a grouping of municipalities, the program is structured as an opt-out program. So this allows us to get the best rates and the best price for competitive renewable energy supply. So what happens is if the city of Yonkers chooses to join, and we'll give you a little bit more information for that, then months down the line, everyone who is eligible to get to be in the program would receive a letter that notifies them of their enrollment, lets them know, hey, the city of Yonkers has joined this program. It says, the city has chosen a green supply. This is the rate that you'll be paying. And here's how to opt out if you don't want to be enrolled. And so the notification letter actually comes with a postcard, which you just have to sign. You could stick right back in the mail, and the postage is already paid, or you could give our office a call or go online. But people can opt out at any time. So what are the benefits of a program like this? Well, we're a vetted community program. We are providing cost control and stability. A big part, maybe the largest part of what we do, is advocacy and education in hopes of mitigating climate change. And so as a vetted community program, we first want to let people know we are a community nonprofit, not an ESCO. And so when you join this program, we're making it easier for people to get renewable energy without having to sift through hundreds of ESCO offers, worry about penalties or termination fees. There's nothing of that sort in our program. You won't see any kinds of sudden rate increases, like when you sign up with a private ESCO. Every time that our rate changes, you receive an official mailing to your home. And so on the cost control and stability side, because we have a fixed rate, we are able to insure against volatility and spikes in the market. And we know that we have a competitive price because of our large customer base. But like I said, that one of the biggest parts of what we do, one of the most important things that we do, is this advocacy and education. We're in office right now, we're all virtual, but we all have our office phones. Mine is always right next to me. And we're answering our phones Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can always email us, info@sustainablewestchester.org. And we are here to help you learn about green energy, how to read your electricity bills, how to get out of a predatory ESCO contract if you are in one. And we will always take as much time as needed to answer your questions. I think my personal record is about 1 hour and 6 minutes. Dan Welsh, my boss, who's on the call right now, has actually made a house visit to read someone's meter because their bill was too high. So we're really here to help in any way that we can. And Carmen here provides amazing in-house Spanish language customer service. But why do we do this? Why is this program so important? It's everything that Carmen was telling you about earlier. We're here to mitigate climate change. We help municipalities to meet the New York State climate goals. And thus far, we've offset 830,000 metric tons of CO2. Being in this program helps municipalities position themselves for clean energy community certification and grants. And then also we, as Westchester residents and as representatives of you all, we really have a seat at the table in the next phase of energy developments, making sure that Westchester County is not left behind in this clean energy transition. And so what are the numbers? We've offset 660,000 metric tons of CO2, which is equivalent to taking 142,600 cars off the road for a year, or planting 10.9 million tree seedlings for 10 years. And as I said, we actually just updated these numbers. We're up to 830,000 metric tons of CO2, an incredible feat. And so how does Yonkers participate? Essentially, the first thing is to enact an enabling law. It doesn't require participation. They're not locked in, but it just allows them to participate if they choose to do so. Then we complete community outreach and education. We've been doing that for a few years now. This is an example of a community outreach session. And then we submit the documents to the Department of Public Service and they can approve the city. And so how can you help? You can attend a council meeting. You could write or call to your council member, help connect us with community groups so that we can get out the word about the program. spread the words to your friends and neighbors. There's nothing like, community networking and talking to people that you have a good relationship with. We have a Yonkers specific webpage, sustainablewestchester.org/WP/Yonkers. And then, as always, you can send us an email voicing your support. We could pass it on to your council member, or, just to let us know that you like what we're doing. And so importantly, aside from this, bulk purchasing program for electricity, which changes your supply, you get renewable energy at a fixed rate. The Westchester Power program is also a foundation for a lot of other clean energy innovation and exciting programs that help you not only go green, but go green in a more localized way and go green in a way that can save you money. And so we're looking at what is our path to a clean Westchester. Right now, all of our electricity, the green power that we're purchasing is through New York State hydropower RECs. That means for all of the green energy used by our residents and small businesses in the program, an equal amount of hydropower is put onto the grid here in New York. We already have something called community solar, which I'm going to explain a little bit more about, but essentially it is putting solar panels on a roof. It doesn't have to be your roof. It's, on a warehouse or a parking lot. And then local people, residents, small businesses can actually subscribe to that project and get a discount up to 10% of their electricity bill. And then we're looking at the forward thinking, really exciting things like building renewables in the northern part of the state and having a direct supply to Westchester so that the electrons on our grid are greener, reducing pollution, and really ensuring a resilient future for Westchester. So as I was saying, community solar is both good for the environment and your wallet. So what happens is they take a look at your typical electric usage for the year, and they assign you a portion of the solar project that you're subscribing to. So let's say, for example, the school in your neighborhood has a very large roof. They put solar panels on the roof. You subscribe. You use about 7,000 kilowatt hours in a year. They assign you a piece of the solar project that's going to about equal that. And then what happens is as those solar panels generate electricity, you get solar credits on your Con Ed bill. The way that it works right now is that your Con Ed bill lowers very significantly, and then you pay back the solar discount amount at a 10% discount. So right now it happens through auto pay. It's quite an easy process, but you have to have a checking account and be comfortable with the auto pay format. But beginning mid-year, we should be able to have what's called consolidated billing. So you can sign up for a project like this and just get dollars off of your bill. Just see, $10, $15 off of your bill. So it is a great opportunity. You're supporting local renewables. There's no solar installations, no upfront fees, and you can cancel at any time. And you could be in this program as on top of your Westchester Power participation. So it's doubling your benefits and your potential savings. So this is what I just said, and it overall leads to a greener electricity system. And so how do you sign up? You can just go to sustainablewestchester.org/solar. There are available projects in Con Ed territory right now, including one in Yonkers. And then as we move throughout this year and what I called consolidated billing is introduced, we'll actually be able to offer community solar on an opt-out basis, just like with the Westchester Power program, to low-income households. So that's a really exciting and equitable development that we're hoping to roll out basically mid-year. The other program that is compatible with Westchester Power and helps people save money is grid rewards. So basically, this utilizes efficient grid management, and it helps to eliminate peaker plants, which are essentially these fossil fuel driven plants, bad for the environment, that are turned on when the demand is the highest, when the system's overloaded and they need more electricity. But peaker plants are often cited in low income areas and increase pollution greatly. And so by using grid rewards, what you're able to do is lower your usage during a peak time. So it's typically during the summer, let's say July 4th weekend, it's 103 degrees because climate change is running rampant and everyone's got their AC on, the system's at capacity. You get a message that says, hey, can you please reduce your usage? So you turn up your thermostat a few degrees, you go swimming, you go to a friend's house. And then at the end of the summer, actually at the end of the year, you receive a check. We did a pilot of this last year and people had 4 events where they were asked to reduce their usage, 2 to 4 hours each, and people received on average $100 to $200. And how do you sign up for that? You can just download the Grid Rewards app today, enable the access to your Con Ed account, and then sign up just like with Community Solar. It's free and easy and helps not only with the environmental impact, but more money in your wallet. So I know that we threw a lot at you very quickly, but that is the presentation for now. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And I did see the chat going off. I think that there
were 2 questions. Yeah, so one person asked what an ESCO is and what it stands for. So maybe we could repeat it for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. So an ESCO stands for an energy supply company or an energy service company. That is essentially those private companies that are able to supply your electricity. You probably get a lot of mailings from them. You probably maybe even get phone calls, and you might have even had someone come to your door. But ESCOs are essentially just private companies that are able to supply your electricity.
And then another person asked, where will the solar array be placed for Yonkers? Is anyone?
Yeah, I can actually go to our website right now, unless Dan knows.
Well, I'm wondering if they're referring to the community solar program. Then that program sources the community solar opportunities from multiple sites, but there happens to be a Yonkers site there today in our portfolio of projects that you can sign up to. But exactly where that project is in Yonkers, I'm not sure. We can,
you
guys talk among yourselves. I'm going to go look and see if it says.
Yeah, I just checked our website. I couldn't find it on the marketplace, but we could definitely find that information and give it back to you.
Yeah, we could share it by GNS Solar, the developer that's part.
Yeah, it may or may not give the exact building on there. But there's more coming up too. I mean, Yonkers has a pretty active program, both the municipal sites that they're looking to put solar on, and there's other private entities. So, we're out there trying to let people know that there's opportunities here because it's a great win-win situation. People will sign up, get savings on their bill. Businesses that sign up and provide roof space or parking lot space can actually make a little lease money. And that's really important these days because businesses are so hard pressed with the economic environment the way it is. And of course, ultimately, then this all helps to keep pushing us along that continuum and increasing the amount of renewable energy.
Definitely. I see another question here from Shay. Says, if enrolled in the program, you mentioned a choice of renewable energy. Is that a choice the individual customer makes, or is it dependent on usage levels? So actually, the first choice is one that the municipality makes. So the city of Yonkers would choose what the default is. They've made every indication that that would be the renewable energy supply. And so as an individual, that is the supply option that you would first be enrolled in, but you have the ability to switch into the standard supply on an individual basis, which is non-renewable energy and is usually nominally less expensive.
I guess I have a question. How does it work for cooperatives? Can cooperative buildings sign up for this?
Yep, so as long as you pay your own electricity bill, if you have your own Con Ed account and you receive a bill, then you're eligible. So the people who are eligible are both residents and small businesses who currently get their electricity supply from Con Edison, and who are not with their own private energy supplier already, ESCO. If you've already chosen your own ESCO, we do not, we do not, and we cannot pull you out of that contract, and we wouldn't want to. So if you're with an ESCO, you wouldn't automatically be eligible. But if you're a resident or a small commercial account, and you're with Con Ed, then you're pretty much going to be eligible unless you're in the heating assistance program. So for each of the units in your condo building, if you do pay your own bill, then you would be eligible and you would receive that notification letter.
Mhm. So if a cooperative building had a master electricity bill and did not have separate units for each unit, they would not be eligible?
If the master fell under those two rate classes of either residential or small commercial, then they would be eligible. Sometimes a master meter, you know, depending on how big of a condo complex it is or what, you know, how much electricity is used, they could be on a different rate class, possibly a larger rate class. But the residential rate class is EL1 and the small commercial is EL2. And that's information that you could find on your bill. And if you did want, you know, more information, you could absolutely send the bill to us and we could take a look and let you know if it would be eligible.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. We certainly want to make sure that those opportunities were available to people, you know, and not that there weren't obstacles just bite into the fact that they had a master metered building. And I know that within that, you know, rate class, there's a EL 12 and 8, I think, and they're both eligible. They're also considered small consumers. So one would think in theory, we can work it out. How the mechanics would work, I'm not sure. So it would be great if you could like send us a note or you know, chat us your email or something. And then we could follow up and try to see if that could be worked out. And also I would note that, you know, if you're in a complex where you suspect they have some roof space that's that could be exploitable for solar, that might be interesting to look at as well, because, you know, what can happen there is you maybe there's a limited amount of space, but it could go to defer like the commons electrical charges, and that would ultimately flow back to you and reduce commons charges. So it would be interesting to look at any of these possibilities, and we'd be happy to do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, we got another question about how can we encourage or support Yonkers taking up this decision. I did post in the chat, but essentially you can write your council member. You can, you know, if you're involved in any community groups and you would like us to give this presentation to your community group, please, you know, shoot us a message or unmute yourself right now, or you can email me, Jasmine, spelled just like you see it right there, at sustainablewestchester.org. We would love to present at any, you know, housing associations or clubs, you know, bowling club. I was on the bowling team in high school. You know, we can relate to anyone, and we love to not just get the word out about this program, but to, you know, have the important conversations about clean energy, about climate change, and, you know, our money saving programs like community solar and demand response. So yeah, please let your council people know. You can always send us an email if you would prefer, you know, that we pass it on. And please do connect us with anyone and talk to your family and friends. You know, you'd be surprised how many people I've talked to since I started working here about their electricity bill. They didn't know anything about their electricity bill. And I said, all right, well, let's take a look at that. So, you know, feel free to give us a call if you do take a look at your own bill after this and something looks crazy if you find out you're paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour for your electricity supply, or if you don't know where you can find out how much you're paying, anything like that, you can also just give our office a call. And I don't know if we had given you all that number yet, so I'm going to put it in the chat.
But that is such an important point, that whole, we want to connect with you folks. And it's often through like hearing about this program that causes people to look at their bill for the first time in 10 years and think, oh, what is this? And I had 2 calls today, one from somebody who was slammed, and that's this industry term for when, an ESCO calls you up and says, oh, give me your Con Ed number so I can check the prices for you. And you don't do anything, you say, thank you, goodbye. And 2 months later, you find they've actually signed you up for their program. So, just reaching out there and educating people about, what happens on their electricity bill and what impact that has is a huge piece of this. And, moving the needle, as Carmen showed you the graph of, where all these greenhouse gases are coming from. And most people are like, okay, we obviously need to do something here and where to start. Electricity is about 20-something%. This is actually the easiest thing you can do. As a community, we come together and we make a proactive choice about what our buying electricity habits. A lot of the other stuff that we have to do is a little harder, so it's good to get that first easy step in, come together as a community, and then start that dialogue.
Definitely. Do we
Can
have?
I ask another question?
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry if I'm not so swift. It's the easy stuff I can't get. Did you say that if Yonkers selects one of the vendors, that everybody within the community needs to use that vendor? Is that what I understood? Okay. So, and there's no, not that it makes a difference, but there's no choice to opt out of that and use another vendor, right?
Not to use a different vendor or supplier, but people do have the ability to opt out of the program altogether.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Part of this is
that's
that
helpful.
we go out for a bidding process of
Mhm.
buying energy suppliers. And basically we're able to say, hey, listen, we've got 115,000 customers in 28 municipalities. What's the best rate that you can give us? And they go through a whole qualification process, but then we have auction day. And it's actually really exciting. You have these suppliers blindly bidding against each other and bidding each other down. It's called a reverse auction. Instead of $1, $2, it's $2, $1. And so you actually see them outbidding each other and driving the price down. If somebody submits a bid, a lower bid, if someone beats your bid in the last 2 minutes, it actually gets kicked out another minute and a half. So they set these auctions for 15 minutes, but I think one of ours, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of ours was like 47 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it got kicked out so many times. And so we do know that it's a really competitive process. And then the supplier that brings us the lowest rate is the one who wins the contract. So essentially what happens is, we'll say you absolutely have to bring us a rate that's lower than this. And then they can just fight it out from there. But we do have a price cap on it. And then whoever the winning supplier is, that's when everyone receives that letter letting them know, right now, Constellation New Energy is our supplier in Con Ed territory. So we say, Constellation New Energy is your supplier. Your current rate is this for this long. And everyone has a 30-day opt-out period. So 30 days to call our office, 914-242-4725, or go on our website, or, do their own Googling of community choice aggregations and what that means. And then they can opt out at that point, and they'll never be enrolled, or you could opt out at any point thereafter, but there's no costs or penalties to that.
Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah, that's a really important part of the program. And when we actually submitted the first, request to the Public Service Commission when this thing started. We were the pilot. And of course, there was a lot of discussion about that because it's quite a deviation from the ESCO world, where you have to have positive assent. People have to sign up and say, I'm signing up for this contract. And so it's kind of a hybrid now. We have to, when we go into a community, we have to do these outreach meetings, we have to send the letters out, but then it's an opt-out process beyond that. And what it really does is it resets the starting point, the default for people in the community. Normally it would be with the utility. Now it's with the community selected option, but they still have all the rights to change and do whatever they want at any time. So that part didn't change.
I have another question, if you don't mind, if I'm not hogging.
You can comment.
Please, please.
My other question is, at the bid, we have relationships with the large residential buildings throughout the downtown area. So you talk about, residences, and you talk about small businesses, but would these large buildings on their own be eligible for this program?
The individuals inside the building probably would
Yes.
be, as long as they're each paying their own electric bill, then they would all be eligible.
But the building itself, because it's so large, would not fall into this program?
It would depend on the rate class. We'd have to take a look at their bill.
Okay,
There's a good chance, a lot of those could be so-called demand meters. If you get beyond a certain usage, then the utility comes in, they put on a meter, and they're watching your peak demand, because that's actually what they care about. That's more, and your charges are based on that. And those are then, in fact, any of those accounts can opt into our program, but they're not part of the opt-out automatically, enrolled cohort.
okay.
Well, and a lot of those, you expect that some of the larger commercial entities have already been aware of their energy costs for a while. They may be out in the market, buying their power and things like that. So this is about aggregation, but there are maybe exceptions where there might be some opportunities there.
And I think my last question is there a flyer that for those that I can't get in touch by email to share this with, that you could send to me and I could share, literally by handing it to somebody? I'm
Definitely.
thinking the small businesses in downtown Yonkers, of which there are many.
Yeah, we have frequently asked questions. We do have specific flyers also about community solar and demand response.
Yeah.
That would be really beneficial for them. So we can certainly send you some informational materials.
Okay, maybe we could talk about that another time. Thank you for taking all my
Great.
questions.
Thanks, Sarah.
Like Jasmine, you
Please send
can,
please send that flyer to the library as well. We'd be happy to distribute it in our locations.
Will do. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Jasmine, I was going to say, on your PowerPoint, the slide that had, it was towards the end, how to sign up. Can you email that particular slide out?
Yes, absolutely. Was that the how to sign up for community solar or demand response? Grid rewards, sorry. I'm gonna put the links in the chat, so let me know if you could see that. We've got sustainablewestchester.org/solar. That is where you can sign up for a community solar project. That's the one that gets you up to 10% discount on your electricity bill. And then the other program is called Grid Rewards. And actually, someone else already threw the link in the chat, which I will repost.
So how do I see the chat? Sustainable Westchester.
Are you on your phone or a
I'm on my phone. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
phone? So
that's
you
why.
see the chat
Is that why I can't see it?
at the, no, you should still be able to see it. It should be at the bottom right. There might be like 3 dots. Let me see. I'm just gonna-
Okay, but anyway, it's https sustainablewestchester.org. If
Yeah,
I go on,
solar. So what you will be able to do, this is so funny. I've got my Zoom up. You've got the 3, okay, that's not gonna work. There we go. You've got 3 dots in the bottom right. And if you click on that, you'll see a chat thing, the second one.
oh, got it.
That should show you the chat.
Perfect.
That was very meta.
Well, because my 3 dots were covered. Okay. By a little
Good.
picture or something.
Okay, for me, it's typically like my thumb is in the way. I'm looking for something and then I find out, oh wait, that's just my thumb in the way.
Honestly, I just figured I would get on and listen because I was curious. I do live in a cooperative building and we are on a master system, and I don't know, I have no idea what an electric bill would go for. I haven't had one for 30 years.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so Dan, you mentioned, like, what is a normal kilowatt? I don't even know what a normal kilowatt charge would be by Con Ed. Like,
Oh, I
what's
mean,
typical?
the total kilowatt charge for Con Ed is something north of 20 cents per kilowatt. And the 2/3 of that is the Con Ed distribution and wires and transformers and billing and all the, everything it takes to get that electron to your door. And the other third is the supply, which is either Con Ed or in our case, it'd be the community supply. And so the community solar program, say if you're talking like nearly 10% discount on that entire 20 cents, that can be, nearly 2 cents a kilowatt hour total savings. And what's great is it's the contract is totally in the consumer's favor. It goes as long as, I think these
20
contracts
years.
are 20 years.
Yep.
And yet you can exit at any time. If somehow somebody's offering you, 15% discount or whatever. So you can just sit there and enjoy that discount for as long as you like. But I really would love to see if there's some way to do this under a master meter system where somehow the benefits flow down through that account in some way, because you would think that the state would really want to be able to do that. That's part of the purpose of community solar, is to be able to get access to people who didn't weren't able to put solar panels on their own particular
Right.
roof.
Well, I'm
So
gonna ask them what the master meter is rated at based on what you said before,
okay,
and then,
any sort of intelligence that you come up with about that, and or a picture of a bill or something, if you could forward that on to us, we'd be happy to try and pitch in and do our own research as well.
Mhm.
Cool. Oh, and while we're on it, we're talking about buildings and opportunities. We might as well mention I don't think we talked about electric vehicles. And we have right now a very active program trying to let people know about the opportunities in installing electric vehicle chargers. And the subsidies out there combined through the state and through the utility programs. And then the deal that we have negotiated with some of the charging companies is such that it's actually either $0 or sometimes there's even cash back. You actually get paid to put these in. And I think it's really important that we are looking towards the future with this. You may not have an electric vehicle today, but we also don't want to be in a situation where, again, we have the sort of haves and have-nots, where all the development has gone in certain places and all the attention, and people who live in apartment buildings who could, in years to come, it's going to be just another car, and you can buy a used one. There's going to be used ones, and so on and so forth. But you can't do it because there's no chargers in your complex. So if that's something of interest, you could also let us know. I know that our colleague Seth would love to come by and alert your association about the opportunities there.
Yeah, definitely. The EV charging stations are such a good opportunity. As Dan said, the financial benefits for it right now, so much money back. If your condo association, or if anyone else on the call is interested in that, we'd be happy to connect you. While we're here, we should probably just plug Energy Smart Homes as well. That's another one of our programs. I don't know whether or not Lauren still what. Yes, here she goes.
I'm here. I'm using the dishwasher and listening to you guys. The Zoom life. Yeah, so if there's any homeowners on the call that are interested in reducing their energy bills, if perhaps like you're wearing 5 sweaters right now and you're keeping your thermostat low because your bills are high or your house is drafty, having a home energy assessment, taking a look at your insulation and air sealing is a great way to seal up the cracks and then reduce your energy bills. And another opportunity is also if you have an aging heating system We can help you get in touch with contractors that are heat pump contractors, geothermal, air source heat pump, ductless mini splits. Those are all, different terms you might have heard about that can help make your house electrified and reduce your carbon emissions. So I'll put my email in the chat, and if anybody is interested, feel free to give me a call.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Oh, and I should mention Empower. If you know, do you mind?
No.
If you know anybody that lives in an apartment or is a homeowner or any situation, if they are someone that's receiving SNAP benefits, HEAP benefits, we can help them get in touch with the Empower program, which can give someone up to $10,000 worth of free home or apartment energy upgrades. So it's a great program to take advantage of if you know people that qualify. Okay.
Lauren, would it be possible, or would you consider giving a similar type of talk or presentation on tips for making your home more energy efficient for homeowners in Yonkers?
Yeah, I think that could be really good. And, sometimes there's a lot of paperwork associated with the Empower program. We often used to do application assistance at the library, which is kind of on hold right now. So I'd love to do a Zoom. I think that would be great.
Sounds good. We'll talk.
Okay, Jesse, I'll get your email from Jasmine.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so does anyone else have questions about either Westchester Power, community solar, energy smart homes, anything that we discussed today?
Jasmine, I just have one question because I'm not looking at the email. And what's the actual name of the company that you're working for?
Sustainable Westchester.
It is Sustainable Westchester. Okay.
So, and we are a nonprofit, and we're based out of Mount Kisco.
Okay.
So I think a good way to sum this up is in acknowledging how dynamic our approach is to addressing climate change. As you see, we've got so many great team members working on so many great programs, all of which are meant to help Westchester in our resilience, in our ability to combat climate change, help residents to get on that transition to clean energy in an economically affordable and efficient way. We try to make it easy for you, accessible, and we're really here to be your local energy advocates here at Sustainable Westchester. So I will turn it to my colleagues who can jump in if they have any other closing remarks. And otherwise, I did put all of our emails in the chat. Our emails are just our first names at sustainablewestchester.org. Our website is sustainablewestchester.org. The links for solar and grid rewards are in the chat. And if you have any other questions, you can always call our office 914-242-4725. And if we ever don't answer, it's just because we're on other calls. You can always leave a voicemail. We get back to you within one day. So does anyone else have anything that they'd like to say?
It was a great evening. I'm so happy to spend some time with you guys. Thanks to the business district and the library for helping us get the word out. And, mention it to your neighbors. It's, it's an important development for the city, and it's good for everybody to be aware of and be able to give your feedback to the city as we move forward with this.
Well, thank you for working with the library to present this. This is really great information for the community, and let us know what else we can do to support the program. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, there will be a few more events coming up. I think we're looking at tentatively February 17th and February 22nd. You can always go to the library or to our website to find out more information about those. Until next time, folks.